Why do you think we've been chatting for 10 minutes? Whatever. We're both cool with this.
All right. I'm connecting to live. We're not live yet. I'm gonna have to change that, but that's fine. Okay. I'm making sure I've got my hand dandy script up. All right, I'm gonna go live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, my name is Rebecca Pearcy, owner of Windsor House Nannies in Austin and San Antonio, Texas, and I am here this evening on behalf of the US Nanny Association with the wonderful Elizabeth Malson, who is the Executive Director of the US Nanny Association. And tonight, we are going to be discussing the USNA's Nanny and Newborn Care Credentials. So how are you, Liz?
I am doing great. I am so excited to be here. It is a fast and fabulous, I want to say Friday, but you know, we've got a little bit of time ahead of us this week. How are you?
I'm actually good. Usually, I don't know, Tuesday evenings, I'm like, oh, I want to go to bed. But tonight, I'm actually really energized and I'm ready to go. I might not be good for when it's time to go to sleep, but I'm feeling good.
I have this hypothesis that the supply chain issues are allowing coffee to get stronger while it's on the boat longer. So all of us can just be juiced up, that extra oomph to get us through the day. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm sure somebody will know. We have a whole bunch of smart, wonderful people with us tonight. So I'm sure somebody can comment on that.
Well, let me introduce you. Even though, you know, majority of people who follow the US Nanny Association know you, let me introduce you. So Liz Malson has been helping parents and nannies for over 5 years. Along with over 30 college faculty, Liz founded the Nanny Institute, which provides online childcare training and certification. While working in the nanny industry, Liz met and has partnered with over 100 volunteers at the US Nanny Association. As the executive director of the US Nanny Association, Liz provides resources and tools to help nannies, parents, and agency owners. And we're going to be talking about one of those right now, which I'm very excited about this. This has been a project of the USNA's for a long time. I'm so excited that it's been released because there isn't anything like this out there right now. So let's talk about it. So Liz, so what are the certifications? What are the credentials? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so one of the reasons a whole group of us came together and founded the US Nanny Association is because we needed an organization that helped do what all of us know is true, that being a full-time nanny is a real job. And so a group of us came together and we looked and said, what do other professional associations have and do? And how can we just copy them and make sure the nanny industry has the same things? And so the US Nanny Association is based on US customs and laws and our education system and our culture, but we really welcome everyone. And so we looked at, you know, certified plumbers, certified nurses, certified home aides, and we learned that really to help it be a profession, we needed a couple of things. And one of those we're going to talk about tonight, which is the actual industry certifications. And as you said, there's nothing else out there that has done what the US Nanny Association has done. And so we have published national standards, and that's super important because if you're going to have a babysitter and a nanny and a newborn and infant care and a professional nanny, you need to have a foundation that says it's a career path. And so that's what the association did first. When we launched 2.5 years ago, we launched with national standards that say, in the United States, our laws and culture and customs define a nanny with these skills. We define a newborn and infant care with these skills, and we define a professional nanny with these other skills. And all of those skills are on the website. You can download it, you can read it. They're not a secret. We share them with everybody. And we're excited that a lot of college programs are now referencing and citing these skills as they're building childcare curriculum. So that's the foundation. That's what's different about the association. But then we can't stop there, Rebecca, because it comes to what are agencies doing. So we met with you and a whole bunch of other agency owners, and we asked, and I'm going to ask you now, What do you need from a nanny that you can place with a great family? What do you look for?
Oh, so much professionalism. And I mean, that encompasses so much. I mean, that's not very specific, is it? But also experience, training, education. Yeah, those are the three big things: experience, education, and professionalism. And professionalism, I feel, if you have the experience and you have the education, it's going to influence that.
Well, and do you accept, work that you did as a sitter when you were 14 as nanny experience?
No.
No. And so some of these things are great experiences. I love sitters. I love people who start their career early. I worked when I was 16. It was at Pizza Hut. We can talk about that later. But I love that. But you have to be able to, as an industry, say what is and isn't going to count. And so that's the second thing the association did. Agencies, what do you expect? What defines our industry? And so the certification programs are also different than anything in the nanny industry because it connects with agency owner needs. So to get certified in the US Nanny Association, you have to be a minimum age. You have to be 18 or 21. You can't be 16 and be a professional nanny. It's not going to meet the industry standards. You have to have a high school diploma. You have to have child care training. You have to have minimum number of years of experience. You have to be current in your CPR and first aid. You have to pass a background check. And to make sure the industry has standards, we give a proficiency exam on the standards. So if we've published that a nanny should have this page of skills, we're going to ask questions about those skills. And we can then say, as a US Nanny Association, all of these things together make you a certified nanny or a certified professional nanny. And this is new to our industry, but agency owners have been doing it kind of for years. In other industries, other professional trades, air conditioning, you get certified as an air conditioning technician. They've been doing this exact same formula for years. So it's nothing like amazing that we came up with. We copied it, but it works. And so that's why we're so excited to have these certification programs, because I'll be honest, they're not easy to get. You can't show up and just be certified. You got to win it.
But that's the difference. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because, and I'll be honest with you. So when we started working on this, it was like, let's test this out. Let's test this out. And so Liz asked me, will you take the exam? Will you test it out? Take the exam. I was quite nervous, and I still haven't taken it because it is work. We've refined it. It was really, really, really difficult. We got feedback and we refined it, but it's tough, and I'm a little bit nervous I won't pass it.
Well, and you're spot on, because if I can walk off the street and with my common sense pass an air conditioning certification exam, that's probably not a good exam. So it's the same thing with our industry. If you only know how you were raised and you show up with just common sense, then you're not going to pass a child care exam. Now, if you've studied child development milestones, or you've taken positive discipline, or you've taken some potty training classes, or you've taken newborn care training, or some parenting classes, or you took some classes at your community college or part of your degree that were early childhood education, then you've learned things that will really set you up to be a professional. And that's a big difference. Common sense is amazing. Yes, it's important. Yes, all of that matters. But if you want to be a professional, you have to study and learn from others and figure out what's going to level you up. And so it is some experience. It is some street smarts, but you got to know, how long are you allowed to leave formula or breast milk out on the counter before it goes bad? There's a very specific timeline. If you don't know that, you might want to study. And we've provided the standards. They're published. There's no secret to what's on this exam. We also have on our website, we have a Jeopardy trivia game. So if you want to have a little bit of fun, go to the website under Credentials, click on the Certified Nanny, and play Jeopardy. You will really quickly get a sense of what questions they are. And it's not designed to be too hard, but it is designed to showcase the people who have committed to this industry with some training, and they've invested in making this a career choice or invested in skills that will help them get a higher salary.
Right. And you know what else? So the USNA have also partnered with training organizations where for you to get those hours, or if you to get additional training, you can go to the USNA website and find those organizations where you can get that training. So that's another thing that I do love about the organization, all the volunteers that have participated with it. They've really input a lot of time and a lot of effort to be like, hey, this is actually, while it's not going to be easy because you have to take these exams and you have to learn, because it shouldn't be easy. You're going to be caring for young children. You should know your stuff going into these homes to care for these families and care for these kids. But what's great is you can go onto the USNA website and, oh, here are all the training organizations that you can use to get your smarts and to get up to speed with everything. And here's all the standards you're going to need to know anyway. So, and it's all done via a login, correct? So if you sign up to take the credentials, the certifications, you log in and there's like this step-by-step guide of everything you have to do. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's two things in there, right? The first one that you talked about is you can get your training almost anywhere, right? Your nanny career is unique to you. So if you want to do a newborn care here, if you want to go do some early childhood education classes, if you're a daycare worker, you had to do your training to be a daycare worker. The US Nanny Association wants you trained, but we empower you to pick what training you want. And that's why we publish the standards. Here's the training you need, get it how you want. And so we do have resources. We're not going to leave you hanging, but we also don't force you to make any specific decisions or commit to any one organization for your training. That is totally up to you. So how do you learn about all this stuff? There's two things. What Rebecca said is when you sign up for the certification, you get a private, secure login account, and it's going to walk you step by step by step. Upload your government ID, upload your high school diploma, upload your CPR first aid, upload your documents, and then it will link to all of the things online. So you can do it anywhere. Now, before you even sign up, if you're like, okay, let me get my ducks in a row, I really want to know step by step everything about the certification, all you have to do is go onto the usnanny.org website and look for the step-by-step guide, and you can read every painful detail. There's even a form you can download if you don't have a W-2 or you don't have pay stubs, you don't have letter of recommendations. You can download a form that'll help you get work experience from your previous employer. So before you commit to the credential, you can have that checklist and go through and make sure you're 100% ready. We want you to be successful, no secrets, no surprises.
Let's talk about background screening, because that's something that we also recently partnered with a screening company to try and make this as seamless and easy as possible for anybody that wants to get certified. Because as an individual, it might be a bit tricky. As an agency, we've already created those partners and then we send all of our nannies to those partners. But as an individual getting a screening company, getting a screening, the USNA have partnered with a company, right?
Yes, absolutely. And again, we want you to be successful, but we're not going to lock you in that you have to do it our way. If you've worked with an agency and they've given you a copy of your background check, upload that. If you've done your own background check with a reputable company and you have it, there's several out there, definitely upload that. If you don't have one, we have partnered with at least one. We're going to try to add a couple more so that you have choices, but you can get really good reputable background checks. So again, we want to be flexible because we know the industry has all these variables, but that background check is standard in childcare, whether you're working at a daycare center or you're working with an agency or you're working in a home. And so that's one of the things we're really proud that we can partner not only with background check organizations, but we're partnering with agency owners, we're partnering with training organizations, because that's what an association should be doing for our community. And we're so grateful to everyone who's partnering with us.
And one of the things that what I think I'm going to just bring to speed that is so relevant to right now, and anyway, and us as an agency, we're not the only ones that are experiencing this. I'm hearing it from agencies all over America, is because rates are going up. They are. We're in a pandemic. It has affected nanny rates substantially. But what we are experiencing is families are saying, okay, if I can pay that much, well, then I want an educated nanny. I want a nanny who has this credential, this credential, this credential. And we have experienced that so much in the last month. This would help so much with that. So if you're a nanny and you're saying, I want $30 an hour, but you don't necessarily have those years of experience or education to effectively negotiate for that $30 an hour, this is a way to start building that education and then showing these families, well, I might not have a degree in early childhood education, but I have this.
And it is huge, because if you think about these families that are often dual working families, these high net worth families, you know, they invested in their education. So they value people who invest in themselves and know you can learn a lot through training and education. And then you marry it with experience, right? A story I tell, and I'll go back to my very first job because, you know, I worked at Pizza Hut. You know, I was really good at slinging pizzas, but all I did was sling pizzas. So I never learned how to run an actual franchise. And that type of comparison applies. If you've only got work experience, you may not know all of the things about our industry to really be able to be a partner or a consultant or a peer to these parents. And if they're paying $30 or $40 an hour, they're going to really value you bringing more into that work environment. And so training, certification, it is huge right now. And it can be the difference for the family picking, you know, a certain price point, a certain wage, or picking you over another option.
Yep. I mean, I can say this, just as an agency, we can be a lot more successful negotiating and getting that higher rate for you if you give us the tools on your resume to do it.
That is so important, Rebecca. Can you say that again?
Yes. We can be, as an agency, so much more successful in getting you the hourly rate and the job that you want if you provide us with the tools on your resume that we need to do that.
And I will let you know something else. I'm working with another agency owner, and she is using the willingness to invest in training as a screening tool. So a lot of families are going to say, okay, I'll pay that hour, but what is our plan? Because this nanny's new to the industry or only has a couple years of experience. And those agency owners are saying, yes, I agree. Yes, it's a great rate. Yes, this nanny only has a couple years of experience. Here's the 1-year training plan, and they're going to get certified at the end of it. So you can have confidence you're getting high quality care for your high wage. And it's making a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, families want to be able to trust you. They're going to be leaving their most precious little ones with you to care and nurture and help them grow. They want some education, you know, it's reassurance.
And let me talk just for a second about our Spanish speaking community. All of our certification programs are in Spanish. You can take the exam in Spanish. You can upload all your documents. We have an amazing group of volunteers, and I'm talking about you, Susie and Kelly and Bear, all of you guys who are part of our volunteers who are supporting our Spanish efforts, who are able and have translated everything into Spanish. Our website is in Spanish. And for those of you who do not have a high school diploma, which is a requirement for the certification, we have a program that allows you to get your specialist credential without a high school diploma. So as an association, we are very aware that all nannies are different. There are lots of needs, and we are doing everything we can to serve everybody in our community. So I just wanted to share that for people who might want a little bit of a different version, but still be in the industry certification efforts.
Brilliant. So can we actually go over what are the three? Because there's three main ones, and then you brought in the specialist. But what are the three credentials?
Thank you so much. I can't believe we haven't talked about it. So the first one is to become a certified nanny. So to become a certified nanny, you have to be at least 18 years old, high school diploma, first aid CPR, at least 20 hours of documented childcare training, at least 1 full year or 2,000 hours of documented childcare experience, a background check, and pass an exam. And baby, if you do all 7 of those things, you deserve an extra couple dollars an hour, right?
Right.
The second level is our newborn and infant care certification. It's a little bit different because we don't just do the first 6 months. We go the full first year. And this is 21 years old. You have to have, I think, 2 years of experience. You have to have even more training in newborn and infant care. It's kind of the same system of certified nanny. It just steps it up that one level. And the final one is certified professional nanny. You can't be a professional unless you're 21 years old and have at least 3 years of experience of documented. Most of our professional nannies have between 8 and 10 years. And we do try to cap it off. If you were a nanny over a decade ago, that experience isn't going to count because a lot changes in childcare in 10 years. I mean, even just this month, they changed the CDC childcare milestones. And so that continuing education piece is important. But you have to have all of your training. And for the professional, you have to have your training from a reputable licensed US education institute. So that's going to be a college, a trade school, something like that, where the faculty and curriculum meet the standards of US secondary education. The other thing I want to mention is, and we mirrored this off of other industries, your credentials are good for 3 years. And then we want continuing education. We don't care what your continuing education is. We just want to make sure you have it. So if you're doing online classes, if you're working in a daycare center where they make you do training every year, or, and you know where I'm going with this, come to our conference. We have tons of seminars at our conference, and they all count as your professional development unit or your continuing education units. And so we want to be able to provide everything you need to continue your career.
I think that's important to mention, because I think when you say you need to continue your education, you know, there can be some concern like, well, I don't need to do that to get a bachelor's degree, or I don't need to, you know what I mean? But it is quite easy to get that continuing education, especially, I mean, you should be investing back into your career. You should be investing back into your families. As you mentioned, things change all the time. And it can be as simple as attending a professional conference, any of these online training courses that we've got tons listed on the USNA website. It can be quite easy and quite simple to do. So I just want to put that out there, because there might be some, continued education. What? More work? Yes.
More work. And I mean, that's what it takes, right? A lot of people have the perception that anybody can be a nanny, and it's not a real job. And I'm going to circle back to how we started the conversation. Being a professional nanny is a real job. So we have to do the real things to have the infrastructure, the standards, the expectation, and really the consistency. So I don't think this is going to flip the whole industry up in 6 months or a year. This is going to be a growth. It's going to be a change that over time, we're then going to be able to say, hey, look, that certified professional nanny was a really big different type of experience than this other nanny I hired in this other way. And it's not that any are good or bad, but we are going to have the professionals and then the part-time sitters. And that's okay. We serve everybody.
Right. Yeah, well, brilliant. Well, fantastic. We just wanted to provide this evening just a slight overview of the credentials, because we are super excited. I mean, I'm super excited about it. I think I've mentioned them to a nanny today who was looking for that pay increase. And I was like, hey.
And as you can see, I talk about them forever. I am so excited, but I also want to really thank, there are literally hundreds of people who are behind these organizations, behind these efforts, who have been a part of this. It is not one person. I'm blessed that I get to sit here and have the title of executive director, but Rebecca, director of agency services and relationships. We have a whole bunch of people, volunteer general counsels. We have people who have been on the advisory teams that have written these standards. We have people who've written the exam questions. We have people who've taken the exam to make sure it's just right. And so there's hundreds and hundreds of people, and I can't name all of them, and I wish I could. but I'm very, very thankful because it really is taking an industry to be a part of these industry leading efforts. And so if you're out there and you're seeing this, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, brilliant. And do I do a call of action if anyone would like to volunteer, or if anyone is interested in investing back into the nanny industry and volunteering their time for the organization? We'd love to hear from you.
If you'd love to run our TikTok channel, call me. There's so much to do. And it's such a great thing to end on, right? Every blog article, every one of these webinars that you host every week, all of our Spanish content, our conference, our credentials, all of this has been done by people who have a genuine passion about providing new tools and opportunities for the nanny industry. And that is remarkable. And every day I get up and I'm so grateful that there are people who are willing to share their expertise, give their time, and be a part of lifting up our entire community and supporting each other. And that's been amazing.
Yeah, and the more voices that we hear from, the better. I mean, not all feedback maybe is the best, but you can always, if you have something you want to say, if you want to provide some information or some feedback or your experience in the industry, and hey, I don't see any support here, send it on over, because yeah, we can only do a limited amount with the small volunteers that we have, but the more feedback that we receive, the better that we can grow to serve more people.
And the more we get people across the United States to volunteer, the more we can do. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Maybe you want $50 to hold a coffee shop meeting in your local community with nannies to start building a nanny network. You know, if our members are able to kind of do that. And so it doesn't have to be something big like, hey, run our TikTok channel, but it can be something simple as, hey, I just want to do a meet and greet my local community, or, you know, help with 1 or 2 webinars, or be a part of helping us find giveaways for our conference. There's so many people who give a little bit of time and people who give a lot, and we welcome everyone. It's everybody's platform because the association belongs to all of us.
Definitely. Well, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Liz, for hopping on with me this evening and chatting about this. We could go into more detail about the credentials, but we just wanted to provide a little sprinkling. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions, leave a comment, leave any feedback. We'd love to hear it. And yeah, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your night with us.
Thank you. I love this. I love hanging out with you guys. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, brilliant. Well, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.